Good afternoon, I'm Sean Yao, and this is One News Now. The days of traditional jeepneys are numbered. The government is going full steam ahead with its PUV modernization program, and jeepney operators and drivers have until the end of June to consolidate. Gerard de la Peña with the details.
Victor feels that his 4-decade career as a jeepney driver is about to end. The LTFRB has set yet another deadline for jeepney operators and drivers to consolidate and modernize their units. This time, it's final. Jeepney drivers like Victor need to be part of a cooperative or corporation before June 30. If not, their franchise will end and they will no longer be allowed to ply their routes. This is difficult for Victor, especially when he only purchased his jeepney 2 years ago and has not yet recouped his investments. He said he can't afford to buy a modern unit which is 20 times more expensive than his original jeepney.
Sa akin, siyempre, hindi maganda yun dahil kasi ang hanap buhay namin, hindi naman kami makakakuha ng sinasabi nila na modern dahil sa taas. Hindi namin kakayanin. Siyempre, kung talagang mawawala itong hanap buhay namin, siyempre, malungkot. Di ba? Wala na, hindi ka na, paano yung gastusin namin? Pangailangan ng mga anak namin sa bahay.
The LTFRB's directive does not necessarily put an end to traditional jeepneys that are practically icons of Filipino pop culture. Franchises of jeepney operators will be extended up to the end of the year if they will be able to consolidate before the deadline. If not, these units can be put to personal use and not as public transport. This is the 4th time that the LTFRB extended the deadline for operators to consolidate since the program's launch in 2017.
Binigyan pa ng pagkakataon yung mga individual operators na hindi pa nakakapag-form or nakakasali ng juridical entity or co-op or corporation para makasali sila hanggang June 30. Yung iba naman po na hindi talaga na mag-avail doon sa modernization, mayroon pong another component na po yung social support na binibigay po ng gobyerno, ng Department of Transportation sa kanyang LTFRB. Ito po yung nasa DOLE at saka yung nasa TESDA. Meron po itong fund na naka-allocate para po tulungan yung mga drivers, operators na mag-decide to go out of the transport industry.
The LTFRB said that about 60% of public utility jeepneys in the country have already consolidated. However, the process is not a walk in the park. Operators at the Catolo Transport Cooperative in Quezon City said that the application took years to get approval. Each operator also had to shell out 40,000 for capital, while drivers need to pay 16,000 pesos each to join. Getting the loan for the initial 6 modernized units, which cost more than 2 million pesos each, is also difficult.
Marami pong proseso, kailangan pa ng medyo malaking pondo. Pero may pondo lang po kami nakalaan. Kailangan talagang parang marami pa pong nauna sa amin.
The Transportation Department earlier called on interested parties with scrappage facilities to get accredited for the proper disposal of old and dilapidated jeepney units. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, we are One News.
The Philippines and Australia are considering joint patrols in the West Philippine Sea. Australian Defense Minister Richard Marles confirmed this in a joint press briefing with his Filipino counterpart Carlito Galvez Jr. He says that they discussed plans to strengthen security ties between the two nations, and one way to achieve this is through joint maritime patrols in the disputed waters. Marles insisted that the rule of law must reign in the West Philippine Sea.
As countries which are committed to the global rules-based order, it is natural that we should think about ways in which we can cooperate in this respect. And so we did talk today about the possibility of exploring joint patrols, and we hope that that comes to fruition soon.
For Galvez, joint patrols with Australia is nothing new, citing past operations in Mindanao. The defense officer in charge added that this did not only serve to strengthen security down south, but also fortified cooperation with Southeast Asian neighbors.
It really contributes to the security and the coming up of the trilateral defense cooperation with Indonesia and Malaysia. So meaning the early bilateral patrols that we have conducted inspired a better organization that we had, the trilateral agreement that become a model to our Asia-Pacific region.
We're pausing for a quick break, but One News Now will be back with more stories after that. Keep it here. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. A suspect in the ambush of Lanao del Sur Governor Mamintal Adiong Jr. was killed in hot pursuit. Police teams in the province spotted a certain Otin who allegedly engaged cops in a gunfight. Otin and his father, who is only known as Fighter, are supposedly 2 of the 5 suspects behind the ambush of the Lanao del Sur Governor. Adiong survived the ambush, but 4 of his companions were killed. And survivors recounted their horrific experience from last week's ambush in Lanao del Sur. Meanwhile, authorities are looking into a drug angle as motive for the attack. The details in this exclusive report by Mon Gualvez.
Bigla akong nagigising na sumisigaw daw ako, sabi ng asawa ko. Naisip ko yung pagtama ng bala na pag-cover ko kay Gub.
Nightmares continue to haunt Nasser Ganda Sr. days after the ambush against his relative Lanao del Sur Governor Mamintal Alonto Adiong Jr. He was seated right beside the governor inside the SUV when bullets rained down on them. Their vehicle alone sustained 18 gunshots.
Parang may sinusug yung pinipirito na mais na yung apoy na umano sa karsada sa dami ng na tumatama sa amin.
Ansari Sumandar also couldn't believe he would live to tell the tale. 7 vehicles were with the convoy. He was in the 6th.
Yung putok, grabe na. Then, ang naano ko lang, yung para may tinatapong kami na bato. Yun pala, pinapaputukan kami, ang tinatamaan yung kalsada, tapos umaano sa amin yung yun, sabi ko, atras tayo.
Ansari said they took a U-turn to ask for help from the MILF checkpoints, but they were told to ask for help somewhere else.
Sinagot sa akin ng isa, sabi niya, Sir, walang order sa amin, hindi kami pwede, doon kayo pumunta sa kabilang campus, hindi po kami pwede gumalaw dahil out na yan sa namin. Yun ang sagot nila sa akin, out na yan sa perimeter namin.
The Barm government explained that the MILF camp did not hear the ambush, but they're ready to take action if there are indeed lapses on the side of the MILF.
Meron namang disciplinary measures talaga na ini-impose yung MILF doon sa mga puwersa nila. Kung sakali man, defined naman kung saan naka-station yung mga tao natin. So wala rin tayong naririnig pa na report na merong involvement yung mga tao ng MILF.
Authorities are still gathering information to pinpoint the location of the perpetrators and to determine the motive behind the attack. Since November of last year, around 40 anti-illegal drug operations have been conducted by Lanao del Sur PNP based on orders by Governor Adiong. This is one of the angles in the ambush currently being studied by the authorities. It was reported that prior to the ambush, the police cracked down on 25,000 fully grown marijuana plants worth 5 million pesos in Maging. Some of the governor's relatives also believe that the ambush may have something to do with his campaign against illegal drugs in the province. For News 5, Mon Gualvez, we are One News.
Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. President Bongbong Marcos has ordered the abolition of the Finance Department's one-stop shop in line with the administration's right-sizing policy. The OSS caters to the processing and issuing of tax clearance certificates and duty drawbacks. These two functions will be transferred to the Bureaus of Internal Revenue and Customs. Australian Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles is saddened by the Cessna 340 crash in Albay. He also extends his condolences to the families of two soldier members of the rescue team who were gunned down yesterday morning. Search and rescue is still ongoing for the plane's passengers, two of whom are Australian nationals. The country's economic managers welcome the ratification of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP. NEDA Secretary Arsenio Balisacan and Budget Secretary Ben Diokno have both said that the RCEP will boost the country's position as an ideal investment hub in the ASEAN region. RCEP consolidates existing ASEAN free trade agreements among member states and covers trade of goods and services. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.